Hey guys, welcome to Passionate Lives. On this channel we do tips and strategy videos on how you can improve your mental well-being, as well as interviews with passionate people about the kind of things that inspire and motivate them to do the things they do. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. We're putting out a video every weekday, Monday to Friday, and so by subscribing you'll get all the latest videos we're putting out there. I really hope the videos that we put out will inspire you to make significant change to your life. Early today I spoke to Paul about how a suicide attempt following a relationship breakdown was a catalyst in him changing his career direction from IT to becoming a teacher. I hope you're inspired by his story, and I look forward to seeing you at the end.
Hi, my name's Paul. This is a documentary or short video about depression, and just sharing a little bit of my journey along the way. I saw a psychologist first time when I was about 30 as a result of a relationship breakup, and it was useful at the time. It allowed me to realise that all of the problem wasn't with me, which was nice. I was married for 14 years, 3 children who are now 13, 15 and 17. The breakup of that marriage was not good by any stretch of the imagination. My 13-year-old girl I haven't really seen since she was 9 years old.
Okay.
And it hurts. It hurts a lot, especially seeing as there was no good reason for us to lose contact. We had a loving father-daughter relationship before the marriage breakup. Fortunately, my 15 and 17-year-old sons are able to split time equally between 2 families.
Yep.
And love them very much, and I still enjoy being a parent to them.
So the catalyst for your mental health problems was the breakup of your relationship, is that right?
It was. After 14 years of what in the main was a very happy marriage. My ex-wife had some issues of her own, and for the last year and a half of our marriage was regularly drinking bottles of vodka before the kids came home from school. I tried my best to help her, which, considering the stress I was under, maybe might not have been the best help I could offer, I don't know.
But you can only give what you can at the time, though. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful vision, but...
Yeah, hindsight's wonderful. In our lives we could have all done things differently. But nevertheless, the relationship ended. Violence restraining orders were raised, eventually squashed in court, but it made no difference to the fact that my daughter was isolated from me, and that's when I lost contact with her. So, pretty stressful time. 4 months after the end of the relationship, I decided enough was enough. I sat at home on my own one night. I drank 2 bottles of wine and took a box of pills. 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting on my couch, effectively waiting to die, and just being alone with my thoughts. The thing that hit me at the time was, well, if I can't help my kids, who's going to help them? And I couldn't find an answer to that. So I ended up calling an ambulance for myself. They turned up, picked me up. Very, very strangely, one of them made a comment to me about wasting their time, and I should have driven myself to the hospital.
After downing 2 bottles of wine?
Yep, after downing 2 bottles of wine. It shows that even some cases the people who are there to help you don't understand the situation. And you know, to be fair to those people, unless you've been in the situation, it's very hard to understand.
Yeah. So what happened when you got to the hospital?
When I was at the hospital, I got to talk to the resident psychologist. We had a long discussion, and I think I was able to convince him that, yeah, I'd done something stupid, but I wasn't about to do it again. And interestingly, I used the words "done something stupid." Didn't feel like it at the time. It really didn't. It felt like the only possible course of action. But I was actually released the next morning, and actually arrested later that night because I'd breached a restraining order because I'd emailed a suicide note to my ex. So the next night I spent in Northbridge lockup, which was an interesting experience in itself. But since then, the court case went for another 2.5 years. The end result being nothing. Well, nothing. Decimation of my finances, family life, family structure, to the point where it was December last year. The final judgment came down, which was basically, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
The hatred instilled in my daughter is so ingrained and deep that my only option now for a relationship with her is to wait. And, you know, if it takes a lifetime, that's what it takes. So we'll see what happens.
And then, you know, your story isn't in isolation. These kind of things happen so often, don't they, really, where people break up and then there's a bit of parental alienation going on, driving the kids away from the parents.
There is. I've learned not to use the term parental alienation because it's such a divisive term. A way I explain it to other people is a parent who hates you more than they love their own children, and will do whatever it takes to hurt you. Now, I'm not here to say, you know, poor me, woe is me. It happens to a lot of people, and since it happened to me, I've met up with people through various support groups, and I found that this process happens a lot more than people would understand, and it's not gendered. I know 2 people from my support groups who suicided in the last 18 months. They were both mothers. So for anyone who says, you know, it's just fathers wanting to get things done, it's not. It's a problem with humanity, not mothers or fathers.
Yeah.
It really is. But you know, life goes on. There are new things that happen.
Yeah.
I lost my job through my court case because I was spending so much time trying to deal with my own court matters that I eventually was made redundant from my employment, which now, with the benefit of hindsight, has probably been a blessing in disguise. It's allowed me to look at new things, and I've decided now that instead of a career in IT, which I'd been in for 30 years, I'd like to become a teacher.
Cool.
So for the last 12 months I've been studying at university. I'm about to go out on my final teacher practical placement, and hopefully at the beginning of 2019 I'll be helping young kids as best I can. And feeling good about it. Teaching was always something I thought I'd like to do. And through a series of unfortunate events, I've now been given my opportunity, so I'm looking forward to taking it with both hands and running as far as I can with it.
So just take me on a bit of a journey of the kind of things that, since you attempted suicide a few years ago, and the things that you've done now that, you've really loved doing, the kind of things that you would have missed had you died on that day.
Well, that was just over 3 years ago now. What I would have missed is 3 years of my sons' lives.
Yeah.
And the memories we built up in those 3 years. Things that you take for granted, teaching your children to drive a car. Little things like coming home to find your kids have bought you a present for costing several $100s, and they've only got little part-time jobs. One of the most overwhelming moments of my life, I rode a motorcycle, which is something I've done since the suicide attempt. Part midlife crisis, part everything else, but I now ride a motorcycle. I came home one day to find that both of my boys had, from their part-time jobs and money they'd saved, they bought me a brand new helmet.
Wow.
And I actually cried. I really did. But little things, and it's all relationship. It's all relationship with me. It's with my kids, my boys. The lovely sarcastic interchanges we have all the time. Helping them make their choices in life. Hoping I can teach them to learn from my mistakes.
Yeah.
The teaching is a new direction for me. I got a new dog. Love him to bits. Cool. I've had him for a couple of years. He was a rescue from the pound. And there's probably something in that, those of us who feel like we've perhaps been rescued do like to try and help others.
Yeah.
There's been some new lifelong friends I've made since my marriage fell apart. People from all walks of life, from a house painter all the way up to a guy who has a doctorate in zoology. And people that I now consider very, very good friends. And many of us have been through similar journeys, and many of us are still going through those journeys. But finding people who, maybe not quite have been to the level of trying to kill themselves, but understand what you're going through, really does help. It really does. It dawned on me at one point, my ex was receiving mental health treatment, and her psychiatrist had spent 8 years trying to find himself in Southern Africa somewhere.
Oh wow.
So it dawns on you that the people who can help you are the people who've been through experiences and understand
Absolutely.
how you're feeling. It's still difficult dealing with people who have no level of understanding. With my daughter, the people who tell me that, she'll come and see you when she's ready. I know they mean well, but it's just a platitude. There's every chance she won't come and see me. I know that. But I'm trying not to let that rule my life now. Where else? Earlier this year I turned up at the Suicide Prevention Awareness Mental Health First Aid course.
How did you find that?
It was good. It was good. I met people who I can understand, they can understand me. The course itself, very short course, but just teaching you basic things to look out for when you're dealing with your friends who may be struggling. And nothing is as good as the simple "Are you okay?" And it takes a lot of people a lot of courage to say no, I'm not. And I've had to do that a few times in my life now. No, I'm not okay. I need help. And breaking down that barrier just with a gentle "Are you okay?" I've asked that of friends of mine. From the biggest, roughest people to the meekest, mildest people, and you get that response. There's somewhere you can start. And one of the things that the course teaches you is you don't have to be the person who solves everything. It's just about recognizing that there is a problem and linking up with other professional services.
Absolutely.
We're not all skilled in saving people's lives, but we can do that short first aid, get them into contact with people who can help. I've spoken to quite a few psychologists and psychiatrists in my life, and if anyone's like me, I was quite macho in my belief, keep it inside, and that's probably a men thing. We don't talk as much as women. But talking to people does help. It's simply, there's no substitute for talking to people, getting things out, getting things off your chest. And that's what the course is all about, just getting people into contact with someone they can talk to and letting them help. But being able to do it in a supportive way, not judging people, because we've all got our own journeys.
And in that course, you had the interview with the ABC as well. So do you want to tell me about some of the repercussions of that interview?
Yeah, that was, I guess it was about 6 months ago now, and a few months later I'd pretty much forgotten about it. It wasn't really on the forefront of my mind. And I was out at a social evening, and a guy, similar age to me I guess, middle-aged man, halfway through the night he just walked up to me and said, brave thing you did, and I'm proud of you for doing it. And he gave me a hug in the middle of a large hall. And I'm thinking, what the hell is he on about? And he said, that TV interview, that was really brave, and really proud of you for doing it, and keep going. Wow. And to have a middle-aged man come up and hug me in the middle of a large public area was overwhelming. But it restores my faith in humanity, and especially for men to be able to share emotion.
It's not something we do very well, is it?
I think in the main it's not something we do at all. But it's been a drastic change in my life. I've shared my feelings with quite a few people now. Some of my deepest, darkest secrets. And overall it's been a positive experience. Talking. I'm reminded of the old Crocodile Dundee movie where talking about problems with psychology, and we don't talk to psychologists. We just tell the mate whatever his name was, he tells everyone else, and then there's no problem anymore. And in a way that's true. Just talking, getting those feelings out helps.
And so just one last thing, what kind of message have you got for someone who's feeling suicidal, or someone whose friend is feeling suicidal? What would you say to them?
I think the first thing I'd be telling them is that it's okay not to feel okay. None of us are at the top of our game 24 hours a day. We all have problems, we all have issues. Some talk about them, some don't. But telling them, okay, it's okay to not be okay. You know, giving them an opportunity just to talk and let something out, but you know, hopefully in a safe environment. You know, not down the pub after 12 beers. You know, that's not a good time for it.
Not a good time, no.
And then, you know, just letting them know that there are people who can help. You know, you need to be supportive, non-judgmental. Christ knows, if people judge me from some of the things I did in my life, you know, I'd be a horrible human being. And, you know, that's the last thing you want to hear when you're feeling that way is you screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already know I screwed up. You know, I don't need other people telling me how bad I am. I need people telling me that there is a future. So just trying to get them somewhere quiet, where they're comfortable enough just to open up a little bit. And then, you know, not trying to play the hero. Then trying just to help them to talk to someone who can really help them. You know, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, just a person.
Yeah.
So getting them in contact with people who've got the skills to help them. You know, I have a friend who's, in the last month, there's a couple of times where I thought he wouldn't make it. But I've managed to get him on the phone, talking to him, I've managed to go and see him a few times. And it's looking a lot more positive now. Got him talking to a counsellor. So while my job is to support him as a friend, it's the counsellor's job to delve deeper into his issues.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to say the wrong thing to him. You know, it's too easy to say something that you think is good at the time, but could tip a person the wrong way. So getting them to talk to the professionals is the ultimate goal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time and honesty, Paul. We really appreciate it.
When you've been through it and people have helped you, it's, you know, I think it's incumbent on you to try and help others.
Absolutely.
So, you know, the whole pay it forward thing. So hopefully I'm still doing okay. I think I am. And you know, the future will tell, but at the moment it looks pretty bright.
That's a good place to end. Thank you again, Paul.
No worries.
Hey guys, that's all we've got time for today. I really hope Paul's interview inspired you to make some significant change to your life. Don't wait until you hit rock bottom before you make those changes. Be proactive and make those changes now. What have you got to lose? If you're new here, please consider subscribing as well. We're putting out new content every weekday from Monday to Friday, and so by subscribing you'll get all the latest videos that we're putting out there. Also drop a comment down below about the kind of life changes that you'd make if failing wasn't an option. You know, what serious change would you make to your life if you were bound to succeed? And why aren't you? Thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.